Right, hello YouTube, Snarky here. Today I'm going to be doing a run-through of Blade and Soul, especially early levels. I'm trying to do kind of a speed run, so I'm going to be skipping cutscenes and conversation, dialogue, things like that, and trying not to waste time on farming in any one place for too long. I don't really have any higher levels. As you can see, my highest level here is a level 30. So can't exactly send myself good stuff and speed up the process like that. This will be a guide to kind of how you could, as fast as you can run through reasonably first starting the game and not knowing how to do everything. I do have a subscription going, so the experience that I get and the money that I get will be substantially more than if you were starting out free to play, but unlike Star Wars The Old Republic, the restrictions on free-to-play in this game are not that bad. Really the biggest thing is the wardrobe inventory. So if you're like me and you like collecting a lot of outfits, you're going to run out of space really fast. Subscription's about the same as Star Wars. It's $15 a month or so. To me, it's worth it just for the wardrobe inventory. So I'll show you what that looks like as we go through. I'm going to make a Gon, and it's going to be a Force Master. Now I'm not too great with the Force Master. You know, I'm not that great with spellcaster types. You know, in Star Wars I do main the Sorcerer, but in most games I'm better at melee just because I'm lazy and the skill cap is sometimes pretty low for classes like that. You just run up and hit things. So this is going to be the character. It's going to be a ridiculous character because it's going to have the Lin voice. That's the little animal kids.
This should be fun!
Now why am I going to do that, you ask? Well, why not? You know, I'm bored. I think his name is going to be, let's see, Holy Snark. Yes. And there he is. You can't even see him. His head's cut off because he's so tall. Now that's one bad thing I don't like about the Gons, is that it's very difficult to make them proportional. That's a pet peeve of mine. Like when I draw, if something's unproportional, I'll have to start the whole thing over. Like little tiny things like that bother me. So we'll see how far I can get with a character like this. Like I said, I did my best. Try to make him pretty much proportional. You know, I've got the solid state drive going, so these load times aren't as long as they used to be. I tried it with my old computer, and it was just terrible. In fact, I'll point out the part where I got caught up on. There's a part when you first leave this tutorial mode area, and you go out into the world where other characters and people are. As soon as I hit the part where enemies started spawning, I would crash on that character and would not be able to get back into the game on that character. My old computer was very crappy. So I'm glad I have this thing here. You can see my FPS over here is over 100 while I'm recording, so doing pretty well. You know, I like to block spammer on all of these. They got a lot of gold spammers on here. Just bots that you know, shout things. They're getting pretty clever with it. They're sending friend requests with the little intro message for the website name and whispering people. So as they get blocked and as they get banned for using bots, they think of new ways to do it. You know, every game pretty much has that problem. NCSoft, it doesn't seem to be too on top of it because there are a lot of bots running around. You'll probably see them as I do this run through. That's one thing that Star Wars does have going for it, is you don't see too many bots. There still are some, and especially more now. They're starting to do less and less with maintenance as time goes on, but it's not as bad as some other games. This one, you know, it wasn't that bad when I started, what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but it's getting worse. So hopefully they do something about that pretty soon. And the reason bots are bad isn't because, you know, it ruins the economy, at least not for me, because I'm too poor yet to, you know, notice, but they really cause a lot of lag, especially a lot of characters all doing the same thing at the same time, and they kind of cock block on certain like bosses. The good thing about this game is that boss raids, at least for world bosses out in the open areas, what they do is you don't have to be in a party to get loot from them. So if somebody else is attacking, you can just run up and hit it, you know, do 1 damage, and poof, you get drops. It counts. So that's one good thing. But it does, the amount of damage you do, how much you contribute, does determine what you get for certain bosses. Especially the first boss, the lower level boss, which is easiest for those bots to farm, because it's, you know, it doesn't take that long to make a character and get it to that point, as you'll see. But yeah, if there's a lot of them in the way, then it causes lag, causes you to get less drops because there's so many bots attacking it. The good thing about it is that when you get into an open area, there will be a little drop down menu right here. You can click and switch instances or servers. I'm not sure what they call it here, but it's like switching instances in Star Wars. And they don't seem to do that very much, so most of the bots are going to be on 1, which is good. Now, you know, I have trouble with this. I don't know why. I seem to get a lot of lag going. Not really lag, more like input lag. It's got to be server side, because, you know, my frames per second doesn't drop very much, and my CPU is doing fine, video card's doing fine. So sometimes you'll click something and then nothing will happen. It happens a lot more in Star Wars than here, or at least it did on the old computer. That's one good thing about my internet, is that I may be pretty far away from the server. I'm not really sure where this server is physically located. I know Star Wars, the server I play on, is in, I want to say San Jose or something. But this one I'm not too sure.
It looks like you received a letter. You had better read it.
And I haven't checked my ping while recording. I don't think it affects it.
Have you been summoned?
But it was just over 100, which is a lot more than Star Wars. Star Wars has that convenient thing on the mini-map. You can mouse over it and it'll tell you what your ping is. Over there I usually get about 30 ms. Not good, not bad. A lot better than some of the foreign players. I used to have a really low latency actually on Grand Chase when that was open, because the server was right there in San Jose. So it's only about 3 hours away from where I'm at now. But on here though, yeah, I do experience some lag. But yeah, one good thing about my internet is that it's kind of slow. It's like the bare minimum service plan, because it is attached to the phone and it does get pricey, but it's through the phone line, so it's all or nothing. It's not like wireless where it'll lag out and disconnect and have connection problems. So I don't have to worry about that. It's either connected or it's not, for the most part. Now bear with me, I am still learning the class, and see right here, there are a few tips. It says you're supposed to crawl out of this area so he can't attack you again. Normally that's true. If you're right next to an enemy who's got a red name, which means they're aggroed, and you are within, I'm not sure, I give it about 15 meters just because I'm scaredy cat, but if you're within that and you start generating chi again, which will be this one button down here, what will happen is they'll be able to attack you. You'll be a targetable object for them again, and they will kill you because you have 0 HP. And then you'll die for real and have to go back to a spawn point. Right here, normally you're supposed to, you know, recover your chi, so it shows you how to do it, and you kind of understand the process through the tutorial. But what I like to do is let it run out, because there is an achievement. Oh, I don't have the titles tracked. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go, Death Touched. And what you're supposed to do here is die during chi recovery and let the timer expire in a near-death state. So you do both of those and you get the Death Touch title. I also like to collect titles, just a thing. So if you're interested in that title, here's your first opportunity to let it run out without it really hampering your gameplay, because as you'll see in a second, this won't take you back to the starting point. It'll bring you back right here, which is convenient. So you only have to wait 80 seconds, but there's no running back and forth like there would be if you did it in an open world setting. Alright, and here we are. Now this will be the same whether or not you recover your chi or let yourself die. It'll bring you back right here and tell you to drink this potion they give you. Don't forget to drink the potion, because if you don't read, like I don't read sometimes, I just click things, you can get really hung up right there. It's a big waste of time talking to the guy and trying to figure out what to do before you actually read the big message on the screen. Not that I've done that several times, but... I love his voice. Now see, the microphone I'm using has, it's a headset, so the noise is kind of muffled because I still have it going through the speakers. I probably should change it so I can hear it, but I don't want to completely cancel out the outside world. Now one thing is that this microphone is really good. I've got it kind of far away from my face, but it will probably pick up all the disgusting just person sounds of swallowing and things like that. I have water next to me, but if I drink it, you're definitely going to hear that. But yeah, talking nonstop for a playthrough, your mouth does get kind of dry. Also, I do apologize for not having made a voiceover commentary video yet, because while I was planning to do it, as it turned out I got sick that day, and my voice has been really crappy and I've been stuffy since then, so this is really the first opportunity I've gotten to do anything like this. Also, I apologize in advance sometimes when gameplay gets difficult, or if I'm about to die or whatever. I will get quiet, so there may be like silent patches where I'm trying to concentrate. I'm not that great at multitasking when I'm talking yet. I'll get better at it as I do these videos, but so far, yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to work on. Also, as I amass viewers, or I guess amass is probably the wrong word, but as I pick up viewers and as people watch these videos, let me know, feel free to let me know in the comments or in private messages or whatever, what you'd like to see. I have several games that I play. One of them is this. I'm not really sure what to do with this game other than what I'm doing right now. Not really good enough to PvP. I can show you matches anyway if that's what you want to see, but I've tried it, and it's either a super face roll game where whoever I'm fighting just didn't stand a chance and it's boring, or it's a super face roll game and I just get smashed and I have no idea what I'm doing and it's boring. So it'll probably get better higher level. The skill cap, well, if I get better at it, the skill cap will be more similar, but as of now the differences are way too huge for anything good to happen, I think. Still, I can give it a try, especially with different classes. I have 5 character slots now, or yes, I have 5. So I'll give that a try. But let's see. There's also Star Wars, mostly PvP because it's really easy. I like the way it's set up. It's, you know, you queue for a war zone, you just record that war zone, and then that's the end of it. Whereas like raids and things like that, I've never actually done. I've never done an operation in Star Wars. I've never done most of the, I'd say probably about 80% of the flashpoints. I've just never done, and that's because previously my old computer just couldn't handle it. In fact, I tried doing world bosses a few times. I tried doing the Walker on Yavin once or twice, and I tried doing 2 of the on planet
I'm Doden, of course.
Rat Ghoul Plague world bosses, and each time I tried, as soon as the fighting started and all of the people on screen, about 20 or so, started using their skills and skill effects started happening, I would immediately crash, and next time I logged on, my character would be dead. So my computer really just couldn't handle it. So, you know, a whole operation with 8 or 16 people, it was never going to happen. Now though, hardware-wise, I can do it. I just haven't because I'm so used to, you know, maintaining the idea that I just can't do it. So I've got to get out of that mentality and give it a try. but I could record some of those as I learn how to do the flashpoints. I could do playthroughs and maybe guides. My problem with doing guides and like pro tips and things like that is that I'm not really pro. I haven't claimed to be in almost any game. I was pretty good at Grand Chase, but of course that's gone. Yeah, like even Star Wars, I'm just not that great. To me, the biggest advantage I have is gearing. My sorcerer is almost fully ranked. I think I'm just missing the armor pieces. And if I scrounged up all the comms I have on Lobby alts, I probably have that much right now. I could just do an alt set and it'd be fully augmented. But
you'll pick it up the path to the left. It'll lead you straight to
yeah.
Captain Dochin's home.
So skill cap for me is pretty low. A lot of games, like I'm a fast learner, so I'll get better as I go, but as far as movement and things like that, I'm not that fast. That's why I'm never good at healing, because I don't know, I just don't think like that. I don't know why. So not a lot of tutorials. Most of the tips I could give you are things that I've seen from tutorials I've watched. It's not really like I have much to offer, but I will give commentary, make jokes, talk a bunch of crap. I'll get more comfortable at it as I go. This is, of course, my first voiceover video, and with just my, I haven't checked it at all, just my luck, I'll get to the end of it after maybe 30-40 minutes, and it won't have even recorded, and I'll have to start over. We'll see.
So, you should go into a survey.
Yeah, so hopefully I'm entertaining enough that I don't have to learn how to do things and recycle tips I've seen. A lot of the things I discover in games like this aren't really helpful. They're more, I don't know, just funny or stupid or things like that. A lot of the helpful things I learned from other people. Now, I don't know why, but I don't like having all these little things at the bottom, so I try to get rid of as many as I can. Another little pet peeve that doesn't make any difference. My girlfriend says I have OCD. I don't, but I can be a bit anal retentive sometimes. So you'll notice I clear up little unnecessary things, and I guess that's a waste of time, but to me it's worth it. Oh, speaking of worth it, here is the outfit cache. As you can see, I don't have anything, but what you can do is, once you get a bunch of outfits, there we go. Once you get outfits, you can store them in here, and this is like a secondary inventory that you have on you at all times. There are only certain places you can't use it, like in dungeons, or I think in the dungeon waiting area, things like that. But for the most part, you can pull these out. Now, if you right-click them, it'll only preview them. So what you're gonna have to do is left-click them and hit Move to Inventory. It's kind of annoying. It'd be great if there were, you know, some way to do that quicker. But as you can see, there are a crap load of outfits. I think there are some that aren't even in here, because I have seen others that I haven't been able to find in here. And then there are also ones for various classes and things, and for example, the Summoner, there's a whole bunch of cat accessories and outfits that, of course, aren't going to show up on mine, but so that's an additional huge group of icons that are going to take up space in your inventory. See, these things are pretty hard to get without buying them. I don't even know how expensive they are. I'm not going to check, but you get your first 3 for that mission. And my main, the assassin, he's like, what, level 30 now? And I think he's gotten probably 3 more, if that, and one of them was from the Daily Dash. So you're going to want to conserve space unless you're planning to drop a bunch of money on inventory space. And that wardrobe inventory is a good way to do it also. One tip I can give you, they explain it, but if you're like me and don't read through it, you might not notice. You have to be wearing an outfit for these to work. Now, early on, it doesn't matter. You can run around naked and everything, but later on, as you get these things, that's a huge chunk of stats that you're not going to get if you don't have some kind of outfit on. Kind of unfortunate. It would be cool if they released like an alternate outfit that, you know, was like a bathing suit or something. I don't know why I have a thing about making big, huge, bulky dudes and then making them run around in like Speedos. Pretty much every one of my male characters on Star Wars has an outfit slot dedicated to skimpy clothing. It's just funny, especially when they're big and muscly. It's just, to me, it's gross in real life, and so it's funny. I'm sure not everybody feels that way, but let's see. That is another thing. Pay attention to the tutorials you get. Every once in a while there will be a tutorial mission. You'll have to do something and then go talk to the people again. Wow, that was unlucky. And if you do not, you can run off and miss little chunks of experience. Oh, here you can see a few bots. You can tell they're this kind of class. That's the standard, just default Gon, if you don't do any character customization. And a lot of them, I guess, are the destroyers. I imagine it's the easiest class to bot. You just run up and hit the basic attack button over and over again. You don't really have to aim that much, things like that. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of these guys running around or standing around. They're all on. Don't really know too much about bots, but I think they're on some kind of. You code in a path for them to follow, and then certain contingencies, I guess, for if targetable objects come by, then they attack, things like that. But a lot of the big enemies, like bosses, are in the same spot for the most part in this game, so you can code them to go to that area and just sort of attack. The monsters are sort of intuitive and will come attack you, so you don't have to really go to them if you don't. Well, if you're unable to because you're a bot. But they do get in the way sometimes, and having so many of them connected does lag the server unnecessarily. It's a lot more players on than if there were just people playing. Oh, you know what? I do that all the time. I don't know why. Pay attention to the mini-map is the best advice I can give, because it's really, really irksome if you're trying to save time to run off and have to go back because you didn't pick everything up. Another tip I can give you is when you first get into an area, try to hit the yellow mission first. That's your story mission, because a lot of the blue ones will be triggered by the yellow one. So if you hit an area, you complete the storyline mission, that'll unlock a bunch of blue ones. So if you go and turn in the ones you have to turn in and talk to everybody, and then hit your yellow one after, you'll have to go back and talk to all those NPCs again. So it's just more unnecessary running around. Another problem I have with this class is that it's complicated, it seems like. I know it's not, all the classes are kind of basic, but for me, like fire and ice and switching back and forth, it seems more complicated than, say, a destroyer where you just hack and slash. So I get used to it, but you have to get used to it, that's all. I do like the visuals in this game, especially like the running animations and gliding, and then certain skills like that thing. That is one problem I have with the game, is that the targeting can be tedious. I know there's a way to adjust it, I just haven't really looked at it. But yeah, the targeting, it's good and bad. I like not being stuck on something. If you try to it's very easy to untarget if you need to. If you want to get away or something like that. A lot of other games, they lock you in. You have to click escape or something like that. So this game you can kind of just look away and run off. But if you're not used to using the mouse to look, it's very easy to untarget something or target the wrong thing and then be clicking the button and nothing happens and you don't understand what's going on. That happened to me just a few minutes ago when I was on my assassin. So it's one of those things you get used to as you go. Every game's different. In fact, I get used to this game, and when I go back to Star Wars, I'm trying to, mouse look, and it doesn't work. I have to click the left button or the right button. There's another thing. As you run through water, it'll force you to stop sprinting, because sprinting on water is a specific skill you get later on. So early levels, try to jump over puddles and things like that when you see them, because it will slow you down a lot. Another thing is fall damage. When you take fall damage, it puts you in combat. So you won't be able to sprint for a while until you get out of combat. You know, now I can never decide which faction to go with because I don't have a lot of connection to people in the game. Like, I don't really have guilds or clans or things like that, so I don't have any reason to pick one or the other. So for me, it really comes down to costume. And this guy's kind of got the whole like Egyptian look going. So I think I'll go with that one. Cerulean Order. Oh, that's full anyway, so it works out. Sometimes the factions, this one usually is full because the red and black outfit is cooler to starting characters, but later on, I think Viridian, I don't know, one of the places, you can switch factions. So if you have to pick one up for now, you really don't have to pick one up if you don't want to. I'm not sure what you miss out on if you don't, other than just the faction uniform and the ability to open world PvP at an early level, but you really don't have to. There are a lot of places later on in the game in a lot of the big villages where you can pick it up later or switch factions. So if you have to take one for now, but you want the other one, Crimson Legion, you can pick it up later. I think around 14 is where you get to the first place you can faction change, but I could be wrong. Over here is clan recruitment. A lot of times if a clan's recruiting, they'll put it right here. Don't own a clan, don't know how it works, but you click apply and it'll send your application to the clan leader and they'll decide whether or not to let you in. A lot of times if it's on there, it's specifically because they're recruiting and the clan leader put it on there. So unless they're looking for somebody of a certain level, they'll usually just let you right in. And some of the clan benefits can be pretty good, but this is one of the newer servers. I think it just came off of, you know, it has a little new icon next to the new ones. I think the new icon just went away like 2 or 3 days ago, so it is one of the newer servers. There aren't a lot of high-level clans yet, because it is expensive to level up a clan. Another thing I have trouble with, try to be careful because it's a waste of time, is if you are spamming the F button or the left mouse button, you can do that and click right back into an unnecessary conversation. That's one bad thing about the game, or good or bad depending on how you look at it, is that even if an NPC does not have a mission for you, you can still talk to them and it'll show them a little, you know, a little dialogue of various things that certain characters say, depending on who they are. So it can be annoying if you're trying to click through really fast. And a lot of times, if they have multiple missions for you, those missions will stack in their dialogue. So you'll go to turn in one mission, and as soon as that dialogue's over, without actually leaving the dialogue, it'll go right into the next one. So if you don't want to pick up that mission, for example, if it's a daily that you just know you're not going to go back and do right now, that can be annoying. So watch out for that. You know, it can send you into the next mission without you realizing it. And then your mission log over here gets full of garbage. But for the most part, in this game you will be doing all of the missions unless you're willing to spring for a bunch of experience items from the shop. So, you know, there's some games like Star Wars, especially now after they, I guess they called it streamlining the experience. For subscribers, you don't really have to do any of the side missions. In this game, you're going to want to do all of the missions, not only for experience, but for money and for items and things like that. You get a lot of good stuff from some of these missions. The dailies are actually even viable to do while you're going through. Every once in a while you can, I guess there's a certain order in which you're going to pick everything up, like I was explaining, at least for the yellow mission. But for the dailies too, and for the blue missions, you can not pick everything up and run off and not notice, and then when you come back to turn in everything, there will be one more mission that you missed, and it'll send you back out to the same area. So usually that's the only time, if I make a mistake like that, it's the only time that I'll just not do a mission. or a daily. But yes, in this game, you aren't really, for the most part, going to want to farm enemies. You're going to want to do the missions. That's where the majority of your experience is going to come from. So, you're going to want to keep on those missions, which is good. I don't like games where you have to grind enemies over and over. Like, granted, the best thing about this game is the combat. It's very intuitive. All the, well, at low level you won't really notice, but as I play through you'll see a lot of these skills down here, they're situational. The same icon will be several different skills, and it'll change depending on combos and things like that. After you use certain moves, they'll change. So yeah, the combat's very, very intuitive. It's very neat. I don't know why I picked that up. I don't need it. But even still, grinding a lot of enemies, especially the same enemies over and over again, it's not fun for the most part, no matter what game you're playing. But you really can go at your own pace in this game. You don't have to stop and stay in an area. It's best to, item-wise, in certain places, but you don't need to. You can just progress through, skip everything, just do the missions and move on, even if you haven't picked up all the items, and you will level up to the point where, you know, the items don't make that big of a difference. If you miss maybe a breakthrough for your weapon, you can keep going for a few levels and come back and get it when you're higher level. It won't hamper you that much, at least early on. I'm not sure if it does later. It probably does.
Sir,
This
I'm
guy.
sorry to...
So that's another thing. Spoilers don't really matter because we're not paying very much attention to the story. This is just me talking a bunch of crap while I play through. Yeah, that's another thing about this class, is that I need to read it, and I won't have time while I'm recording because I'm not going to stop and read it. It'll be boring to watch. But all the stacks of things, they affect the skills that you use, and I don't really know how. At this point, I'm really just clicking buttons. Maybe Hajun will teach me. Also, for those of you who do play any of the games I play, like Star Wars or Blade and Soul, if you do see me doing things that are just like completely wrong and you have some tips for me, feel free to let me know. I'm not one of those douchebags that's like, oh, well, no, I know how to play it, and, you know, that's just the way I play it. No, I have no idea what I'm doing, so if you have anything that can help me out, be sure to let me know. I do appreciate feedback. Alright. Another thing that I don't really understand is these soul shields. Like, I know what they do, I know what they're for, but as far as like what the best ones are, or upgrading, things like that, I don't really have any idea.
To the pretender.
So I'm still learning that too.
So, we meet at last. You call yourself Hong Moon? Let's see. Try casting Dragon Whirl on the red trading This should be no problem for a truce. Hit the 3 trading
Dragon
dummies
Whirl,
with
huh?
Dragon Whirl.
Let's see.
Dragon Whirl is
The
like
problem with some
entry-level
classes
Force
is
Master
that
stuff.
it's going to be this one here. Normally it has a 24-second cooldown, and in this area, it's supposed to automatically reset your cooldowns and keep your focus up, but some classes it doesn't do that for. Oh, looks like it did. The summoner is really bad. Every single time that you use a skill, you, for the most part, have to wait for your cooldown to come off, and some of the cooldowns that you're going to be using in these training sessions are pretty long, so that can be annoying. But it looks like this one's not too bad. A little cutscene here.
Cricket, I fooled you, right? Don't act so surprised. No, I'm a ghost. I've come back to haunt you. Woo-hoo!
You know he's funny, but he's a little douchebag.
And be on time, sleepyhead.
Also, another tip, if you are interested in titles, there is a title, and I cannot find it. Nope, don't know. But there's some title that, here it is. Windstride. That's it's going to be like your quick travel in Star Wars. You're going to want to use this as much as possible because it is expensive, so if you're free to play, maybe avoid it. But if you use it 5,000 times, you get another title. And it's pretty easy since it's convenient anyway. So this would take you right back to the start, but if you Windstride, it'll take you right over here. That's one thing I don't like about the map, is that rather than scrolling up, like to scroll in, scrolling up takes you farther out. So like it zoomed in on that. In order to go back one step to the area outside of there, you scroll up instead of down. I don't know, it just seems like it should be down. I feel like I'm used to it being down in most games. Scrolling down is scrolling out, and scrolling up is scrolling in. But on the map, it's different. And then scrolling down and up is correct with the camera. So I don't know why it's backwards with the map.
I told if something happened.
Here's another one. See, it went right into the next mission. And this one is one of those, go do something, then come talk to me. Another thing is, as you try to repair, it'll give you, you're going to use these things to repair. And unless you're dying a lot, you should be fine with what they give you throughout the story. But repairing is going to use these. This little icon will come up. You can also hit the I button for inventory and check right here. Just keep an eye on it. I've never broken a weapon. Usually it gets down to about half before I repair it. But if it breaks, yeah, it'll be useless till you can repair it. And I think it's more expensive to repair it once it's broken too. So keep an eye on it. This first one, depending on how much damage you've taken, I've had it happen a lot where it's at 65 out of 65 and I can't repair it yet. So if that happens, what you can do is take this, which is automatically given to you at about half, and just repair that. It'll cost a little bit more, but you can progress through that mission without having to go fight and take damage and maybe die.
A survey has arrived.
Also, keep an eye on those surveys. Make sure you do them because they do give you certain things that you need. For example, this first weapon upgrade, I can't see it yet, but it's going to require some materials that you get from the story, but it's also going to require you to unseal the weapon. So you're going to need to use this unsealing charm and these keys. You already start with keys, but the unsealing charms, the first one you get, is going to be from the survey. So if you don't do the surveys, then you're going to have to wait in order to upgrade your weapon, and that's never fun because you do less damage. Alright, also, another example of how I'm not sure what to do with the soul shields, but when they take up too much space, the green and white ones, I just salvage them. With salvaging, you do get, I'll show you when I get one. They're these like gold, I don't remember what they're called, gold powder? Something like that. But that's what you're going to use to upgrade your soul shields later on. This was poorly thought out, and it's really hard to get over there to talk to her after you talk to him.
Pyres is just south of here. Please be careful.
Well, there's another example of how I should have done the yellow one first, because it unlocked some of these. I think this guy I already had to talk to. Another thing is sprint. It'd be nice if it were longer. It'd be pretty overpowered if it were longer, but it'd be nice. It's 12 seconds as is. Later on, you can raise it to 15 seconds. I don't think you can raise it higher than that. Hopefully, but yeah, around 30 or so, 25 to 30, you can raise it to 15 seconds. So that's convenient. But you want to conserve sprint as much as you can by gliding. Gliding is probably just about as slow as just running normally, but it looks cooler, so makes you feel better about having to stop sprinting for a while, I think. Especially if you have those nifty little sprint effects going on. That's a premium thing. I heard people saying earlier that premium's not even worth it. To me, for the cool sprint effect, for getting money every time you kill something, and for the wardrobe inventory, it's worth it to me.
Yes? No. Since you're don't let
It's time for the second training session. Read the letter.
There is a lot of running around this game. It would be cool if there were like mounts or things like that to speed you up a little bit between areas, but oh well. So yeah, here's the first boss. You got this little icon here. The little flower with swords on it means he's being attacked. When he's not being attacked, it'll just be a little monster face. So as you see, I'll come in, I'll just hit him once or twice, and I'll get drops. I feel kind of like a D-bag just coming and not contributing, but look how many people there are. They didn't need my help. Yeah, I got 2. I think 2 is the bare minimum you get for this boss. If you do moderate, reasonable damage, you'll get 3. If you do most of the damage, you'll get 4, and if you either solo him or do almost all the damage, you'll get 5. What you're going to want to do with these things is take one over to this wheel. The problem with this wheel is that it is for the entire area, so only one person can click it at a time. If somebody else gets to click, you have to wait for it to reset. But if you spam the keyboard really fast and don't have too much lag, you should be able to get it no problem. This first soul shield here is probably the best one you can get until your first 6-man dungeon. So if you are okay with wasting a little bit of time farming for it, make sure you pick this one up. As you can see, I just fought the boss, didn't kill it, fought the boss once and got pretty lucky with it. They do, however, start to chalk up your inventory after a while, especially if you're going for something specific like the weapon. Unless you use one of the brilliant keys, and I'll go into that in a little bit, you may be here for a while. But you shouldn't use a brilliant key unless you're super lazy or have a job where you make a lot of money and don't have a lot of time to play, because they're only 80 cents, but it's a waste. He's super easy to kill. The lock boxes for the weapons are super easy to drop. There's really no reason to, unless you're impatient, again, there's no reason to waste a brilliant key. So these normal keys, when you, oh here, I have one here. So these brilliant keys will randomize the type of weapon that comes out of it. I'm looking specifically for what's called a bangle. Yeah, bangle. So that's the weapon for my class. But if you use one of these keys, it will always be your class. So you only have to open one, it will just give you the bangle. But you start out with a crap load of keys. Keys are easy to get. Later on you can make them. So there's really no rush. Also, the weapons that you get from here are pretty good for materials. You can feed them to your weapon, and they're pretty good. So don't really worry too much about it. If you're gonna stock up on useless weapons that you're only gonna use to feed yours, these are good weapons to do. The only problem is that sometimes you can get very unlucky and spend an hour or 2 here and not get the weapon you're looking for. In that case, it's probably best, if you haven't gotten it after a few kills, it's probably best to just move on and come back to it. It's not that big a priority just yet. Later on as you go, I think the next survey, down here the next survey and one of the yellow missions give you more essences, which are those red things that drop that you use for the wheel. So it's not that serious. And you can come back to it because you stay in this area for a little bit story-wise, and you end up having to come back to this little village here later on. In about 4 or 5 levels, so you can come back to it without having to go out of your way. But if you can get lucky enough to drop it early on, it is really good. You'll notice a huge difference in your damage output, because since your stats are so low, every little stat makes a big difference at this level. So it won't hamper you if you don't do it, but it'll be a huge help if you do. So let's go and see if we can get the right weapon, see how long it takes. That is another bad thing about bots in this area. That boss is the first one that you see in farming a lot. Then all of them will run up and stand in front of this thing and bot click it all at once, all together. So it's pretty hard. I haven't had too much trouble beating them. I don't have a whole lot of lag going on though. But if you don't have a really good computer or a really good internet connection, it can be very terrible. But a quick fix for that would be to use this drop down menu and switch to another instance. Like I said, they're usually, I only see them on instance 1, so it's not too hard to get away from them. Only downside is if you're not using a class that's really good at soloing things, it can be difficult to take that boss by yourself if you happen to get a super unpopulated server. So that's really just about luck, I guess, and what you're going for. Okay, so these things, I don't think I can upgrade them using the, yeah, no, you can't use the same type to upgrade it, so I just get rid of them all. And this is what takes the longest. It'd be pretty cool if salvaging went a little bit faster. Like, yeah, it'd be overpowered if you can just spam salvaging, but you have to find the items to salvage in the first place, so, you know, like, I get it, you're salvaging it. Also, if you do what I'm doing, as you're waiting here salvaging, keep an eye on the map. You can, you know, the items will still be there, you can salvage them afterwards. If you're farming, you're not going to want to miss too many of those boss drops. This can get repetitive, pretty boring to watch. I don't think I'm going to open any more in this video, I'll do them later. Because they take up a lot of space, so you're not going to want to hold on to them. It'd be nice if they stacked, but yeah, they take up a bunch of space. And I already have the full soul shield, so there's really not that much reason to stay on it. Another bad thing is that if you really want to come back later for the outfit, not sure if I'll drop it or not, I can show it to you. The outfit you get from here is going to look like this. There's also a hat and an adornment, a facial adornment. If you're really interested in getting this, you get it from that wheel. It has a chance to drop a box that contains the outfit or a box that contains either of the adornments. So if you don't want to spend a bunch of time here as you're leveling through, oh, here's one. You can come back to it later, and so a lot of high levels come back to just complete their complete their armor sets. They'll run back through all the other bosses that they skipped in the first place. So if you see them doing that, that can be a problem, because say they're level 45, they're going to take this boss out really fast. If you're up there, you may not have time to get down to the boss and contribute, and if you're down here, you're not going to get more than 2 at a time. So that can be a problem. But like I said, if it's that overpopulated, you can just switch to another instance at the risk of having to solo it. You know, I'm really not sure how long I was going to make this first video. I kind of just started recording and ran with it. So, may wrap it up pretty soon here, and then continue in the next video. Yeah, see, I'm not getting the weapon. What I think I'm going to do is just continue farming, and get the weapon, and then stop there. Because yeah, it's going to be kind of boring if you just watch me do the same thing over and over again. And even though it's a boss, like I said, monsters in this game don't give too much experience, so farming them isn't viable. So it's not like I'm going to level up 6 or 7 times while I'm farming this weapon. Let's do one more kill, and then we'll end the video. But yeah, so if you have any suggestions, any requests, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I have no problem taking a look at those. especially if I'm able to. Oh, and I never told you the full list of games that I play, or I have access to. Right now I have Star Wars The Old Republic and Blade and Soul loaded on my computer. I have a Grand Chase private server. It's not too great, not very well regulated. There are a lot of hackers, a lot of server instability. It's not very easy to find a good game to record on there, which is a shame because I would love to do Grand Chase games. But let's see. Oh, I also have Battlefield 4. Haven't tried recording on there yet, and I'm not that great. I've played through the story once, and I don't really have a lot of weapons. Usually get one-shotted by a lot of the people that play. I'm super terrible. What I'm going to try to do is pick up a controller, because for me, using the mouse and the keyboard for a shooting game, kind of hard. I'm used to playing like on Xbox, so I may pick up a 360 controller or an Xbox One controller, something like that, and I'll use that. So when I get that, then yeah, I'm not going to be good, but I'll be a little bit better. It'll be a little bit easier for me, so I can do some Battlefield games. And I also have a Need for Speed game. Not sure how engaging watching me drive around is going to be, but if you'd like to see any of those, let me know. I'm also trying to resolve Grand Theft Auto 4. I don't know if any of you have had the same problem, but I have Windows 10, and the games that came out between like 2003 and 2008 use a system called Securom, which was the it's the anti-copying, the copyright coding that prevented you from making illegal copies of the CDs. But I guess the program was very easy to recode into a hack and break into people's computers with. And so Windows had so much trouble with it that, or Microsoft, that that they blocked it in their newer OSs. I think 8.1 and now 10. So if you have any CD-ROMs of video games that came out between 2003 and 2008, it is possible that if you upgrade to 10, you will not be able to play them. One example is Grand Theft Auto 4. Even if you purchase the game, if you have it, have the CD code and everything, you cannot play it because Windows just won't run it. Especially certain processors. I think a lot of the Skylake ones, the high-end Skylakes, the i5 6600 and up, you're not going to be able to play those games. The only way I've found to actually fix it, that people are saying is a fix, is to flash your BIOS. That's to manually upgrade the BIOS for your motherboard, which, if you know what you're doing, sure, feel free to do it. If you don't, I probably wouldn't bother because it's very risky. You know, there's a right way to do it. If you do it right, apparently it's very easy, but it's also very easy to do it wrong, and it can do a lot of damage. So unless you have your heart set on playing a certain game that you have, given how expensive motherboards are, the risk really outweighs the return in this one. You're going to want to probably buy one of those digital downloads, and people have been having trouble with the Steam version. So, you know, if it's not too much money, it'd be best to spring for the digital download of the game itself outside of Steam. It seems to be the only way you're going to be able to play games like this. And correct me if I'm wrong, you may not even be able to do the digital download version. I've been emailing back and forth with Rockstar to see if we can resolve it, but they really don't have any fixes. They've told me to use a virus scan, so they don't seem to know what's going on either. But if you have any info on that, let me know. I may just get fed up and get Grand Theft Auto 5. That seems to be excluded from these problems. So I wanted to play 4 because I never got to play it on my old computer. It was too crappy to run it. So it'd be nice to see the storyline, but I may just skip it and go to 5. So next few months, I may have 5 too. So I'll be able to do videos of that. Grand Theft Auto is always fun. I like blowing things up. Might try it online. Kill a bunch of people. That's what a lot of the Grand Theft Auto videos I see now are, is online PvP. Alright, well, this has been my first voiceover video. Congratulations for making it all the way through if you did. If you skipped through, didn't watch the whole thing, also props. Kind of boring. So, like I said, I'm kind of nervous though, so as I get more comfortable, you know, I'll get funnier later on. I'm a funny guy, pretty much. make jokes, talk a lot of crap. That's an interesting name here. Look at this. Alright. Here's me signing off. See you guys in the next video.